Welcome to our first lesson on percentages. I'm going to start by covering the basics. In a normal percentage question, if you're asked to find a percent of an amount, we'll start with percent. It simply means out of 100. And to convert from a percent to a decimal or a fraction, you're going to simply divide by 100. So if we were looking for 25%, we could write that as 25 out of 100. Going back to our fractions, out of just means divide by. Or we could also write it as 0.25. That's what you get if you stuck it in a calculator. But I'm sure a lot of you will remember that dividing by 100 just means moving the decimal place from behind into the front. Moving the decimal place by the number of zeros you've got. So if we had 5%, we could write that as 5 out of 100, or alternatively as 0.05. You can see the decimal point has gone from behind 2 places, and that gives us 0.5. Similarly, if we had 12.5%, that would be 12.5 out of 100, which we very rarely write. We don't like having decimals in fractions. And that can also be written as 0.12. That's our decimal point has gone from there by 2 places. Now if you're finding an amount of a value, all you're going to do is follow a little formula, and that is your amount times by your percentage divided by 100, and that gives you your new value. Now a lot of the time in the questions we're going to be coming across at Nat 5 level, what you've actually got here is your original value or original amount, and then your new value. Okay, just underline that for you. There we go. Right, now that is National 4 level percentages. These questions will come up as part of the Nat 5 exam, but not as a main part. They will be part of a much bigger question. So what we need to look at is what we will come across, and we will be coming across percentage increase over time, percentage decrease over time, and percentage change. We will also be finding the original value when given a new value. So let's start off with percentage increase and decrease. I'm going to leave this here for now because we will be referring back to it. Okay. So percentage increase and decrease. It's the same technique as we've used here, but we're going to use our decimals very slightly differently. We want to first of all figure out what percentage we're looking for, and then we'll take it to the step of finding the answer, the new value. So if, for example, we were given the price of a new TV was £280, plus VAT at 20%, so plus 20. We need to figure out what we've got before we figure out what we need to do with it. So we know the £280 is 100%. Just change pens here. That's our 100%. And we're going to add on another 20%. So what we're actually looking for is 120%. We now need to convert that into our decimal and put it back into our question. So our original value, as in here, is 280. We're going to times it by our decimal version of 120, which is 1.20. If you look, the decimal's gone from there to here, 2 places, just as we were doing before. And that, when you stick it into the calculator, will give you your answer. I'll let you work that bit out for yourself if you fancy. The technique is the same. Okay? Alternatively, if we were given a percentage decrease, you follow the same technique. So if we started with, I don't know, £490. Ooh. A push bike. One of the posh ones, but not too posh. It's £490 and it's got a 12% sale on in the shop at the moment. So we'll do the same again. Where is our 100%? This question is going to become very important to you at Nat 5. Our 100% is here, and we're taking away 12%. So we're actually looking for 100 take 12, which would be 88%. And then we do our calculation based on that. So we've got 490 times 0.88, and that will give us our answer. So you can see again, the decimal has moved 2 places. Okay. Right. That's step 1. Of course, at Nat 5, things never stay at just step 1. So I'm going to clear this off, and if you want more practice of them, you can find questions on the TJ Maths book, pages 20 to 28, for all of these questions that we're going to be covering today. You'll also find that there's similar questions in the worksheets that are attached to the Schoology page. Just clear this off. I'm going to need the space. All right. Okie dokie. Now we're going to look at compound interest. You'll have come across this in bank accounts. We're also going to cover it as appreciation. That's not liking something, that's value increasing over time. And depreciation. Don't worry, you're not expected to spell these, but being able to know what the words mean will be helpful in the exam because they expect that knowledge. Okay, so what we're doing is a repeated increase or decrease. So just like we did in the other one, you look for where your 100% is, and then you see what happens over time. So I'm going to give you an example now. If we had a car with, oh, it's not going to, cars don't appreciate in value. Let's say a painting, posh painting, £8,000, and we're told it increases in value by 4% every year, APR, annual percentage rate of 4%. And we're told that we're looking at the price after 5 years. And we have to work out how much it would now be worth. So what we're going to do is, just like we did with the last question, we're going to look for our 100%. So our original value is our 100%, and we're adding on 4%. So we're looking for 104%. Now what that gives us is £8,000 times 104, so 1.04 for year 1. And we do the same again to the answer to that for year 2. That's a Y, honest. And again for year 3. And again for year 4. And finally for year 5. In the exam, if you choose to do it by this method and write an answer for each level, you will not be marked down, but they are looking for a faster answer. You may remember from when we were discussing algebra, what do we do when we repeat a multiplication? So if we had 3 times 3 times 3, we could write that as 3 to the power of 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we've got 1.04 times itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, obviously because we had 5 years, and we're going to make our calculation that faster version. So what you've got is 8,000 times 1.04 to the power of 5. Now if you need help in putting that into your own particular calculator, please message me. Every calculator is slightly different. I'd rather you learned how to do it on your one calculator than me show you on my particular calculator. Now we're going to look at it again, but this time we're going to look at what happens with a depreciation. So if we're told that we have a TV that's been bought for £400 and it's going to lose value of 20% each year, how much is it worth after 3 years? This sort of calculation is the type of thing that your insurance company do when they try and work out the value of property within your home. So we're going to have, again, finding our 100%. So here's our 100. And we're going to take away 20%. And that gives us 80% that we're actually looking for. So our calculation is going to be 400 times 0.80, but we're wanting it for 3 years. So it's 0.80 cubed. And as many of you are aware, if you've got a 0 at the end, you don't need to put that in your calculator, so you can just do 0.8 cubed. You wouldn't lose marks either way in an exam. It makes no difference to the calculator. You'd stick that in your calculator, you hit equals, you've got your answer. Now, a big tip for in the actual exam, if they give you your question in pounds or a unit of any kind, give them your answer in that same unit. There's extra points available. You will lose marks if you don't remember the units. So whatever answer I get for this one, it would be a pound sign, and the same for this one, it would be a pound sign. Right. Next we'll look at percentage change, but I'll do that in the next video.